The hall of the Alien Academy stretched far and wide, a labyrinth of glowing corridors, floating platforms, and strange machines that hummed and whirred with alien energy. It was a place built for strength, for power, and for those who were fearless. But in a dark corner, away from the bright lights and the proud students, a tiny creature huddled alone, a baby dragon, no bigger than a child, crouched against the cold metal floor. Its scales were pale and fragile, not yet hardened by fire or battle. Its wings twitched nervously, folding over itself as if trying to hide from the world. The dragon's amber eyes darted from shadow to shadow, watching the massive figures of the alien students as they passed by. The hall echoed with their laughter, strange shrieks, and clicks of claws against metal. The baby dragon shivered. It had not come to this place on its own. It had been forced here by chance, an outcast in a world that demanded strength from the moment one was born. Every movement felt dangerous. Every glance could mean attack. And then it happened. A group of alien students, taller than any human could imagine, with sleek, armored bodies and eyes glowing with arrogance, noticed a trembling dragon. One of them stepped forward, a long, spindly arm extending, and let out a cruel laugh that echoed across the hall. "Look at this weakling," the alien hissed, its voice sharp and slicing. "Does it even belong here?" Another alien joined in, flicking a small metallic sphere toward the dragon. It rolled and bounced, hitting the dragon's tail. The baby dragon yelped, startled, trying to fold itself smaller. But the aliens were relentless. Objects flew. Taunts came faster, each word cutting deeper than any claw. "Pathetic," one yelled. "Can't even stand on your own 2 feet." The dragon tried to move, scrambling toward a nearby shadow corner. But the floor was slick. Ice had formed near the windows from the Academy's artificial winter experiment. Its tiny claws slipped. Its wings fluttered helplessly. The dragon fell forward, hitting the cold ground with a soft thud. The aliens laughed louder, circling it like hunters. Their mockery was sharp, cruel, and unrelenting. The dragon's heart pounded. Fear and desperation surged inside it. It wanted to run, to hide, to disappear entirely. But every escape path seemed blocked. Every move invited more mockery and more attacks. It felt small, weak, and completely alone in a world that did not forgive weakness. From a distance, a figure watched. He stood at the far end of the hall, partly hidden behind a hovering platform, his human form simple and unassuming compared to the towering aliens. Yet there was something in his eyes, steady and sharp, that made it clear he was not afraid. He had come to this place quietly, studying the Academy from the shadows, and now he saw the cruelty unfolding, the way they mocked, the way they surrounded the dragon. It was a test of dominance for them, but horror for anyone with even a shred of empathy. The human stepped forward. His boots clicked softly on the metal floor, barely noticeable at first, but the sound cut through the laughter like a distant warning. His face was calm, expression unreadable, yet every movement carried purpose. He did not rush. He did not shout, but his eyes locked on the baby dragon. The aliens noticed him then. At first, they paused mid-laugh, curious. One of the taller aliens narrowed its glowing eyes. "Who is this?" it hissed. "Another weak human wandering where it shouldn't be?" They expected fear. They expected the human to freeze, to retreat, to flee like most creatures they had crushed before. But the human kept walking, slowly, deliberately, his gaze never leaving the dragon. Each step was measured. Each breath was steady. He did not raise his hands in defense. He did not shout in challenge, but there was an invisible force in the way he moved, a quiet warning that he was not someone to be underestimated. The aliens laughed again, louder this time, thinking a joke. "A human? In our hall? Pathetic," one sneered. "Come closer, and you might join in weakness." But the human did not stop. He approached, a calm presence in a storm of alien arrogance. The baby dragon, sensing something different, lifted its head slightly. Its golden eyes flickered from the human to the aliens, confused but curious. No one had ever come close without attacking. No one had ever spoken without mockery. And yet, here he was, silent, steady, protective. The tension in the hall grew. Time seemed to stretch. Every alien instinct told them to strike first, to crush what they saw as weak before it could grow. But something about the human made them hesitate. Something in the way he carried himself suggested he was not just another prey. The human reached the edge of the circle the aliens had made around the dragon. He crouched slightly, not threatening, not aggressive, but steady. The baby dragon's trembling wings shivered again, not from fear this time, but from hope, a tiny spark it had almost forgotten existed. They thought no one would interfere. The human's gaze hardened, voice low but clear. They didn't know humans don't back down. The aliens blinked, momentarily stunned. The hall, once full of laughter and cruelty, fell into a tense silence. Every creature present felt it. The shift in the air, the sudden possibility that this small, unarmed human might actually challenge their arrogance. The dragon moved closer to human, tiny claws leaving marks on the icy floor. It was a small gesture, but powerful. In that moment, the seeds of trust were planted. The human had stepped into the storm, and the baby dragon, for the first time, felt that maybe, just maybe, it was not entirely alone in this world of giants. The aliens, still towering and confident, exchanged glances. They had underestimated humans before. But now, they would learn that courage, even from the smallest beings, could not be measured by size, strength, or power alone. And with that, the stage was set. The academy, the aliens, the dragon, and the human, everything was about to change. The human crouched slightly, keeping his movements slow and calm. His eyes never left the baby dragon. He spoke softly, in a low voice, almost like a whisper carried only by the hall's faint hum. "Hey, there, it's okay," he said gently. "I'm not here to hurt you." The dragon froze at first, its golden eyes wide and wary. Its wings twitched, uncertain whether to trust this stranger. The echoes of the aliens' laughter still rang in its ears. Every instinct told it to flee. But something about the human felt different. There was no aggression, no arrogance, no rush to dominate, just calm and steady focus. Slowly, the dragon inched closer, its small claws scraping lightly against the icy floor. The aliens noticed this movement and snarled, their glowing eyes narrowing. One stepped forward, towering over both the human and the dragon. Its skin shimmered with armored plating, and its claws glinted like sharpened blades. It raised a hand, and a strange device appeared, a small sphere floating in the air. It pulsed with light. Human. The alien hissed, "You dare interfere? You dare touch what belongs to us." A low, sinister hum echoed through the hall. The other aliens activated their own gadgets, some shimmering with energy, others crackling with sparks. They formed a circle, tightening around the human and the dragon. The academy seemed to hold its breath. The human didn't flinch. Instead, he tilted his head slightly, scanning the floor and the walls, reading the environment like a map. Then, with quick, careful movements, he tossed a small metallic object he had concealed in his pocket. It rolled across the floor, skidding past the alien's feet. The object emitted a blinding flash and a high-pitched noise that made the aliens recoil. What is this?" One alien hissed, clutching its ears. The human took a slow step forward, keeping himself between the dragon and the aliens. "Stay behind me," he said to the baby dragon, and it obeyed, nudging closer to his side. The aliens attacked in response. A pulse of energy shot from one alien's device, streaking toward the human like a bolt of lightning. The human rolled to the side, narrowly avoiding the strike, and grabbed a loose metal panel from the floor. He slammed it against another pulse, redirecting it back toward the alien. Sparks flew as it deflected, and the alien stumbled, stunned by the unexpected counterattack. The baby dragon watched in awe, its small body pressing against the human's leg. It had never seen anything like this. The human wasn't strong in the way the aliens were. He had no armor, no glowing powers, no monstrous claws, but he moved with precision, thinking faster than the creatures that towered over him. Every move, every decision was calculated. "Impressive," one alien hissed. For a human, almost clever. The human's eyes flicked to the dragon. "You'll be safe, just stay close," he said. The dragon's wings twitched once, then folded tightly against its body. It had never felt such a strange mix of fear and trust before. The aliens circled again, this time more carefully. They had underestimated him. and their confidence was shaken. One alien leapt forward, claws extended, aiming directly at the human. The human dodged, ducking low and sliding across the icy floor. He grabbed a hanging cable and swung himself behind a pillar, narrowly avoiding a strike that could have ended him. Humans are fragile, the alien leader hissed, but they are unpredictable. The human didn't speak. He simply observed, using their aggression against them. Another alien fired a small projectile, a dart that zipped through the air at lightning speed. The human reached into his pocket again and threw a small mirror-like disc. The dart struck it, ricocheting harmlessly into the wall. The baby dragon's tail flicked nervously, but stayed put, following the human's instructions. It was learning, watching, and beginning to understand. The human was not just protecting it. He was teaching it, showing it that even in a world ruled by power, courage and quick thinking could make a difference. The tension in the hall grew. Every alien realized they were dealing with something unexpected. The human's movements were not just survival, they were strategy. He dodged, deflected, and used the environment like a weapon. One moment he was behind a pillar, the next sliding across the ice, the dragon tucked safely behind him. Then, the alien leader raised both hands, sending a wave of energy that rippled across the floor. It slammed the human backward, who barely managed to roll under a low beam, feeling the heat of the attack brush past him. The baby dragon squealed and tried to leap forward, but the human quickly held it close, shielding it with his own body. The aliens hissed and advanced, confident that this final attack would break him. But the human had anticipated it. Using a loose cable and a quick twist of his body, he tripped one of the aliens, sending it crashing into a wall. The sudden move caused chaos among the others, giving him a moment to rise and shield the baby dragon again. The baby dragon, sensing the human's bravery, nudged closer to him, curling against his legs. Its wings twitched once, then settled, as if it had finally decided that the human was its protector. The human's eyes met the alien leader's glowing gaze. "I won't let you hurt it," he said calmly, almost like a promise. The aliens paused, tension high, their arrogance shaken. They had never encountered a human who moved like this, who thought faster than brute strength could handle. The hall was silent except for the faint hum of alien devices and the dragon's soft, frightened breathing. For the first time, the aliens realized that power alone was not enough. Courage, cleverness, and heart could challenge even the strongest beings. And in that frozen hall, under the eyes of towering aliens, a human and a tiny dragon stood together, ready to face whatever came next. The human led the baby dragon down a narrow corridor, far from the bright lights in the eyes of the alien students. The academy was massive, but in its forgotten corners, dust and shadows gathered, and strange vents hummed quietly. Here, the chaos of the hallways could not reach them. The baby dragon's tiny claws scraped against the metal floor, leaving faint scratches as it shuffled along. Its wings folded tightly against its body. The human glanced back at it and gave a small nod. "It's okay," he whispered. "We're safe for now." The baby dragon hesitated, then followed, its small body tense but trusting. Each step they took seemed to echo in the empty hallway, but the sound no longer carried the threat of mockery or attack. For the first time, the dragon felt a strange sense of relief. It still trembled, but this time it was not from fear. It was from uncertainty, from hope. They reached a small chamber, tucked behind a wall of old storage units. Broken machinery lay scattered on the floor, and the walls were lined with pipes and vents that hissed faintly. The human gestured for the dragon to settle down. "Rest here," he said softly. "I'll get you something to eat." The dragon watched him warily, its amber eyes flicking between the human and the shadowy corners of the room. It had never known anyone to be this calm in the face of danger. The aliens had laughed, mocked, and threatened, yet the human had not faltered. He had protected it, shielded it, and outsmarted beings far stronger than both of them. Slowly, a spark of trust began to grow. The human rummaged through his small pack and pulled out a few scraps of dried meat he had brought along. He placed them gently on the floor, a small offering. "Here," he said, "you need to eat. You can't stay strong if you're hungry." The dragon sniffed at the food cautiously. Its stomach growled faintly, reminding it of its weakness. After a moment, it took a tiny bite. The human watched, his eyes softening. He knew it had been a long time since the dragon had been cared for. A pang of empathy struck him. These aliens had never understood compassion. They valued only power and dominance. But humans had a way of seeing heart even where others saw weakness. After the dragon finished eating, it curled up near a corner of the room. The human crouched beside it, careful not to move too fast. He extended a hand slowly, palm open. "It's okay," he said. "I won't hurt you." The dragon's head lifted slightly. Its wings twitched, then relaxed as it let the human's fingers brush against its tiny claw. The touch was soft, gentle, but full of reassurance. The baby dragon pressed its small paw into the human's hand, almost like a promise. In that moment, an unspoken bond formed between them. It was fragile, yes, but it was real. "You're stronger than they think," the human whispered, stroking its scales carefully. "And you're not alone anymore. I'll protect you, no matter what." The baby dragon blinked, its golden eyes reflecting something new. Trust. It pressed its head closer, a small warmth radiating from its tiny body. For the first time, it felt safe. For the first time, it felt that perhaps the world wasn't entirely cruel. Outside, the distant echoes of the academy continued, but now they sounded different. The aliens were regrouping, their cruel laughter replaced by careful whispers and strategic planning. They were plotting, readying themselves for another strike. The human and dragon could hear faint footsteps and the metallic clatter of devices as the aliens moved through the hallways. Danger was not gone. It was only waiting, growing. The human stood and scanned the room carefully. "They're planning something," he said quietly. "Sooner or later, they'll come for us, but we'll be ready." The baby dragon twitched its wings once and let out a soft, almost playful squeak. It nudged closer to human, brushing against his leg. The gesture was small, yet full of trust. The human smiled faintly. "Good," he said. "That's all I need. We'll face them together." He looked around the chamber for anything they could use as defense. Old pipes could serve as weapons, broken panels as shields. Even this forgotten corner, useless to most, held potential. His mind worked quickly, considering every possible scenario. He didn't have alien strength or technology, but he had something just as powerful: cleverness, courage, and the bond he had just formed with the dragon. The baby dragon rested its head against his leg, small but warm. Its trust made him feel stronger, more determined. In that moment, he realized something important. Humans weren't strong because of power or tools. They were strong because they cared, because they could see heart where others saw weakness. And that was a strength the aliens could never understand. The human knelt beside the dragon and whispered, "We'll need to move soon. They won't wait forever. But together we can face anything." A faint rumble echoed through the corridor. The human's eyes narrowed. "They're coming," he said calmly. "We need to be ready." The dragon's small claws dug lightly into the floor. Its wings twitched, no longer from fear, but anticipation. It had a guardian now, someone who would fight alongside it, someone who would not abandon it, even against the strongest aliens. The human placed a protective hand over the baby dragon. "No matter what happens next," he said, voice steady, "I won't let them hurt you. Not now, not ever." Outside, the aliens gathered their forces, unaware that their prey was no longer helpless. Inside, a human and a tiny dragon prepared for what was coming. And in that quiet, shadowed corner of the academy, a bond had been forged that would change everything. Because courage, care, and heart could be more powerful than any weapon. The stage was set. The next confrontation was coming. And this time, the baby dragon would not face alone. The distant hum of the alien academy grew louder, echoing like a storm rolling through the massive halls. From the shadows emerged the alien leader, a massive, imposing figure that dwarfed even the tallest students. Its skin shimmered with metallic plates, each one reflecting the light in a cold, menacing way. Its eyes glowed like molten gold, and the energy radiating from it made the air crackle. The leader's gaze swept across the hall, landing on the human and the baby dragon. A low, rumbling hiss escaped its throat, vibrating to the floor and walls. "You dare protect this creature?" it growled. Its voice was deep, echoing like thunder, and filled with the kind of authority that made most beings freeze in fear. "You will regret this insolence." The human stood his ground, his chest rising and falling steadily. He didn't flinch. His eyes scanned the hall, taking in the environment. The hanging cables, broken panels, icy patches on the floor, and even the shadows where he could hide. He knew he couldn't match the alien in raw power, but he had something far more important. Cunning, quick thinking, and the bond he had built with the dragon. The leader stepped closer, each movement deliberate and terrifyingly slow. Sparks of energy arced between its claws. The alien surrounding it formed a semicircle, ready to strike at the first sign of weakness. The hall was silent, except for the humming of machines and the rhythmic clicking of the leader's armored feet. The human crouched slightly, holding the dragon close. "Stay behind me," he whispered. The dragon, small but brave, twitched its wings and pressed against him, ready to act. Despite its size, there was fire in its eyes, a spark of courage that mirrored the human's own determination. Without warning, the leader struck. A wave of energy surged across the floor, sending shards of ice and metal flying. The human rolled to the side, narrowly avoiding the strike. He grabbed a loose panel from the wall, slamming it into the wave to absorb part of the energy. Sparks erupted, scattering the nearby alien students. The leader hissed in frustration, its massive claws clanging against the floor. "Clever, for a human," it snarled. "But cleverness will not save you." The human's mind raced. He noticed a series of hanging cables and pipes above. With a quick glance at the dragon, he pointed. The dragon understood instantly. With a small roar, it leapt forward, its tiny body agile and fast. Flames flickered from its mouth, striking a cable above. The cable snapped, swinging down toward the leader like a whip. The leader leapt back, avoiding the strike, but it had lost balance for a split second. The human used that moment to dash forward, sliding across the icy floor and tripping a nearby alien student who had tried to intercept him. Chaos erupted as the alien leader's forces struggled to regain control. "Impressive," the leader hissed, eyes narrowing. "But strength will always prevail." The human smiled faintly, keeping low and moving strategically. He dodged energy blasts, ducked under swings of massive claws, and even used small fragments of metal and debris as shields. Every move was calculated, every step designed to survive and protect the dragon. The dragon, sensing its companion's determination, grew bolder. Its tiny claws dug into the floor as it leapt toward the leader, breathing small bursts of fire that forced the aliens to scatter. Though its flames were weak compared to the leader's energy, they were fast, unpredictable, and perfectly timed. Together, the human and dragon moved as one, a synchronized team that the aliens had not anticipated. The leader roared in frustration, swinging its massive arm in a wide arc. The human ducked low, sliding beneath the strike, and rolling to safety. He pulled a panel from the floor and tossed it toward a group of approaching aliens, sending them tumbling into each other. The baby dragon darted between their legs, tiny wings flapping furiously as it emitted another small burst of fire. Every step, every dodge, every tiny flame worked in tandem. The human's cleverness combined with the dragon's bravery to create something the aliens could not easily overcome. They were strong, yes, but they had underestimated the power of teamwork, courage, and heart. The leader's eyes burned with rage as it realized the truth. A mere human, paired with a tiny dragon, was challenging its authority. Its arrogance, its confidence, its sense of superiority, all of it wavered. The human wasn't strong in the traditional sense, but he was smart, quick, and fearless. And the dragon, small as it was, had a spirit that refused to bow. With a final hiss of frustration, the leader lifted its massive arms, energy crackling around its claws. It roared, shaking the entire hall, but this time, instead of attacking, it backed away. Slowly, deliberately, it retreated, leaving the human and dragon standing in the center of the chamber. The surrounding aliens paused, uncertain, watching the leader disappear into the shadows. Silence fell over the academy. The echoes of the previous chaos faded, leaving only the hum of machines and the soft breathing of a human and a dragon. The baby dragon pressed closer to its protector, wings folded but trembling not with fear, but with relief. The human straightened, looking around at the hall, eyes sharp and alert. "It's not over," he whispered. "They'll be back, but we can handle it." The baby dragon let out a soft chirp, nudging his hand with its tiny head. It had learned something important in this fight. That strength alone did not define victory, and that courage, intelligence, and trust could challenge even the most powerful beings. In that moment, the human and the dragon stood together victorious. Not because they were the strongest, but because they were clever, brave, and willing to fight for each other. The academy, once filled with arrogance and cruelty, had been silenced, at least for now. And for the first time, both human and dragon realized that their bond was more than survival. It was strength. It was hope. It was the kind of courage that no alien could ever truly understand. The hall of the alien academy was quiet now, eerily quiet, as if the walls themselves were catching their breath. The echoes of the battle still lingered, sparks flickering from broken devices, and shards of metal scattered across the floor. The aliens who had once mocked the baby dragon and the human now stood frozen, watching from the shadows. Their glowing eyes reflected a mixture of fear, confusion, and awe. In the center of the room, the human crouched beside the baby dragon. The tiny creature curled against his chest, its small wings folded tight, trembling, but not from fear this time. It was a different kind of trembling, one born from relief and trust. The human gently stroked its scales, feeling the warmth of life that pulsed through the little dragon's body. "You're safe now," he whispered softly. "No one can hurt you while I'm here." The baby dragon nuzzled against him, a soft, almost playful sound escaping its throat. Its golden eyes, once wide with fear, now glowed with a quiet confidence. It lifted its tiny head, looking up at him as if understanding every word. The bond between them was complete. They were no longer predator and prey, human and alien, or master and dependent. They were partners, allies, friends. From the edges of the hall, the alien students who had laughed and bullied now watched silently. The fear in their eyes was not just from a fight they had witnessed. It was from a new understanding. Humans were not weak. They were not simple. Their strength did not come from armor, claws, or energy blasts, but from something far deeper. Heart, courage, determination. One alien, smaller than the rest, but bold enough to step forward, tilted its head. "It survived," it murmured, "and the dragon trusts him." Another hissed, almost reluctantly. "Humans, they fight differently. They think, they adapt, they care." The academy itself seemed to shift around them. The once arrogant energy of the aliens now tinged with doubt. The human stood slowly, keeping the baby dragon safe in his arms. His eyes scanned the hall, calm and determined, yet always alert. He knew this was only the first step. The alien leader had retreated, but others would watch. They would learn, and some would return. The fight was far from over. But for now, victory belonged to those who had courage, no matter their size. The human walked toward the main entrance of the academy. Each step was steady, confident, as the baby dragon clung to him. Its tiny claws dug lightly into his clothing, a silent gesture of trust and loyalty. The floor beneath them was cracked and scorched, a testament to the chaos that had occurred. But their steps were unhindered. They were leaving the hall not just as survivors, but as a symbol. The alien students parted as they passed, unsure how to react. Some bowed slightly, not in submission but in acknowledgement. Others simply stared, wide-eyed, realizing that a single human, fragile and unarmed compared to their strength, had not only survived but had protected a being they had dismissed as weak. Outside, the cold light of the artificial sky illuminated the academy grounds. Snow drifted gently from the suspended clouds in the simulation above, glinting like silver dust. The human paused, feeling the wind brush against his face, carrying the faint scent of ice and metal. The baby dragon tucked its head under his chin, eyes closing briefly in trust. The human smiled softly. "We did it," he said, voice low, almost himself. "But this is only the beginning." For a long moment, they stood there, together, tiny and small against the backdrop of the massive academy, yet stronger than anything the aliens could measure. Strength wasn't about size or energy or intimidation. It was about courage, loyalty, and heart. And in that moment, they had all three. As they walked away, the alien academy behind them seemed almost different. The corridors that echoed with cruelty and laughter were now silent, empty, almost humbled. Somewhere in the distance, the alien leader's roar could still be heard, a reminder that danger had not vanished, but the human and the dragon had shown that bravery could defy even the most powerful. The baby dragon lifted its head and looked at the human. Its tiny eyes gleamed with curiosity and excitement, as if asking silently, "What comes next?" The human chuckled softly and ruffled its scales. "Whatever comes next," he said, "we face it together." And with that, they began their journey beyond the academy, leaving behind the echoes of fear and arrogance. The human carried the baby dragon carefully, stepping onto the snowy plains that stretched far and wide. Each footprint left behind was a mark of hope, a testament to the fact that even in a world ruled by gods and monsters, a small heart, guided by courage, could change everything. The alien students who had witnessed the fight would remember this day forever. They had learned that strength was not measured in power alone. They had learned that even the smallest, weakest-looking creatures could challenge giants if they had courage, intelligence, and heart. And the human, walking steadily through the snow with the baby dragon in his arms, knew that this was only the start of something far bigger. The world beyond the academy was vast, filled with dangers, challenges, and mysteries. But he would not face them alone. The baby dragon had chosen him as its guardian, and he had chosen it as his companion. Together, they would meet whatever came next, stronger than any force that sought to oppose them. As they disappeared into the snowy horizon, the human glanced down at the dragon and whispered, "In a world of gods and monsters, sometimes the smallest heart can teach the strongest beings what courage really means." And in the distance, the faint rumble of alien machinery hinted that new challenges were already forming. But for now, victory and hope belonged to them, and the story of courage, loyalty, and heart had only just begun.